Amazon didn't invent the idea of shopping from home. Mail-order catalogues had offered it for decades. But this kind of thing started to feel distinctly low-tech when a new vision appeared in the 1990s.
Imagine a world where every word ever written, every picture ever painted and every film ever shot could be viewed instantly in your home via an information superhighway.
Ordinary domestic phone lines offered access to an exciting future.
It all comes down to computers communicating. And in fact, that's already happening on something called the Internet.
The Internet was already a hot topic in New York in the early 90s. It had caught the attention of a young Jeff Bezos.
The wake-up call was seeing web usage grow at 2,300% a year.
Back then, Bezos was a bright 20-something computer science graduate rising through the ranks of a Wall Street firm which was pioneering computer-based trading. There was plenty of talk about what the Internet might mean for business.
In 1994, there was this idea that maybe the Internet's going to be powerful enough that you can use it to create a kind of intermediary between customers, shoppers, and manufacturers. Well, that was a very vague idea, but Jeff had this notion that maybe if you focused it in one product category, on the Internet you can offer everything.
The question was, what's the first best product to sell online? I made a list of 20 different products and sort of force-ranked them according to several different criteria, and ultimately picked books.
Bezos was already married to Mackenzie Tuttle, who he'd met at work. But their domestic routine was about to be disrupted.
He wanted to break away from the investment firm, roll up his sleeves, and build a business.
The Bezoses packed up their apartment and left New York behind.
He was in such a hurry that he hired a removal truck. He told them to drive west and that he would get started and call them in a couple of days and tell them where exactly on the West Coast they should go.
Once, young men were told to go west in search of gold or land, but in the 90s they went west in search of geeks. Bill Gates' Microsoft dominated the new world of personal computers from his hometown of Seattle, Washington. So there was plenty of tech talent around, and Bezos sent the removal truck there. Also heading to Seattle from California was an experienced programmer, Shel Caffin, Amazon's first employee.
First, we had to buy some computers and software. We couldn't afford very big computers or very many computers, or we did have to be frugal because there was not a huge amount of investment.
The garage at Jeff and Mackenzie's rented house became the office. Bezos insisted on getting desks made from doors to save money. It's become part of Amazon mythology, the original example of another of those leadership principles, frugality.
We try not to spend money on things that don't matter to customers.
I think frugality is in some ways a much misunderstood leadership principle. Frugality doesn't mean cheapness. It doesn't mean penny pinching. It means making efficient use of scarce resources. And I think within the door desk idea, the idea that you would improvise a desk out of the materials at hand, you also have the idea of a kind of a scrappiness, of a kind of making do with what you have to hand.
After months of coding on the doors, Bezos' new business was launched.
www.amazon.com. It takes you to our website.
Amazon's 8th employee, Todd Nelson, had been working as a waiter before he got the job that changed his life.
They had actually started shipping books in Jeff's garage, and then they moved to this small warehouse.
Todd started working here, ordering and dispatching books. He and his colleagues responded to a computer linked to Amazon's website.
They had a bell that whenever a customer would order a book, there'd be a little ding, ding, and everyone would cheer because we'd made another sale. And within the first few days, it was ding, 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 and they had to turn it off because, it was annoying.
By listing any book that could be ordered from distributors, Bezos' small business would claim the title Earth's biggest bookstore.
Over some large number of years, I think internet book selling is going to become a very large business.
At the end of each day, work in Amazon's offices stopped, and everyone, including Jeff and Mackenzie, went down to the basement to help get all the orders into the last post.
There's this feeling you just couldn't do enough. I was working, 12, 16-hour days, working most weekends. I didn't take a vacation for the first 2-3 years, but it's what I wanted to do. I mean, I was excited by my work. It was the most fulfilling work I've ever done.
Bezos was picky about who joined Amazon. He originally interviewed everyone personally. James Marcus passed the test.
He didn't overwhelm you in a sort of show-busy, titan of business way, but he had a lot of brain power and a lot of focus. And after 10 or 15 minutes of talking to the guy, a certain kind of magnetism came into play, which was not traditional and was that much more persuasive, I think, because of it.
Amazon was soon too big for everyone to meet Bezos, but new recruits were fired up in sessions about him and the company history.
Even in the initial training, talk about things that Jeff would like and things that Jeff wouldn't like. You learn his story, driving out in the sedan, being in the garage and founding the company. People love a winner, and so just being on that team felt like something. It was the kind of job you could tell your future wife's relatives about, and they would be impressed.
At Christmas, the office staff were expected to help pack books at the warehouse. It gave them a rare insight into those much-discussed customers.
You would pick the weirdest things. There was a lot of porn, there was a lot of scientific literature, and I would gift wrap once a copy of Mein Kampf. Of course, I was hoping that whoever was sending it to someone for a Christmas gift was sending it as a kind of cautionary tale about man's inhumanity to man, or see how far we can fall. But sadly, the card that went inside the thing simply said Merry Christmas.